first hear the countdown, you are maybe an engineer or a scientist watching the launch. But I have been in the hot seat. The last person to give the go for launch for NASA is a very special experience. You're nervous and excited, and you have to think, have I done everything I can reasonably do to ensure mission success? And if you can say yes, then you say go for launch. When you're in the hole, when you're making the final judgment to go, you have to weigh all of the risks, and you have to ask yourself, have I minimized the risk? You can never eliminate risk, but have I minimized the risk? And you would not say go unless you thought you had done everything you could do.
Can you talk about the science communication? How do the scientists need to communicate in order for ordinary people, for example, like me, who do not work in the sphere and do not know anything, to learn and to know some stuff about that, and in order to understand what's going on? Because there are, a lot of conspiracy theories about everything about space and everything. How should science be communicated?
Yes. Well, here at Starmus VI in Armenia, I'm going to give a talk, and in that talk, which is to a general audience, I have tried to be very careful not to use a lot of NASA words, but to be very clear, to state things truly, but to keep it fairly simple, because I want people to understand the science, the engineering, all the work that went into it. Not everybody can do this. And I think that the role of science communicators is to take a very complex topic and make it into something that is understandable by everybody.
Yes, and talking about also science communication, I can give you the example of Armenia, of scientists and engineers of Armenia. They don't really like to talk much about what they do, because we have this image of scientists working quietly at his office and not really talking about that. Do you think it's that important to communicate and to share what they do?
I think it's very important, particularly to inspire the next generation, for current practitioners, current scientists and engineers and managers, to explain what they're doing. And at least in the US, we have the feeling that we owe this to the taxpayer. For NASA programs, it is the taxpayer money that allowed us to go and explore Mars or look at the heavens. Something that you raised that I think is also important is to address theories that are just crazy, conspiracy theories. There was a theory that there was a pyramid on Mars, a face on Mars. And so when I was in charge of the Mars program, we pointed the new spacecraft with much, much better optics at the same place. What we saw, nothing, just rubble, rocks. So we posted that on the NASA website so people can see for themselves. No face on Mars.
Yeah, and you've been in charge for many programs, and you know the responsibility, and NASA is about to launch another moon rocket, and it's been postponed for 2 times already. I think you understand the feeling of when everyone's waiting for it to go, because it's a big mission, and then it's postponed. How you see it?
Yes, the NASA vehicle, the rocket, the so-called Artemis I, has been postponed, but this is okay. You do not want to get launch fever. Remember, a cheap failure is no good to anybody. Take your time, fix the problems, launch when you're ready. Sometimes this is hard to do, and of course the public wants it to happen just right now, but it's better to take your time to fix the problems and have a success.
Yeah, also, and coming back to science communication, is that when they say that we are launching on this date, the public is basically waiting for that, and ordinary people, they don't know that it cannot go. You are like, it's going on this day and launching, and people are gathering there to see, and I see also the public pressure on people, on engineers working on that. And recently the talks have become more and more about the colonization of Mars and going to moon, sending ordinary people to moon. How do you see this?
Right.
Is it happening anytime soon?
Yeah. So let me answer two questions. First question is about the pressure to launch on a given day at a given hour. And this has cost people's lives in the past. The Challenger accident that ended up killing 7 astronauts went when it was too cold because President Reagan was going to give a speech and he was going to watch the launch. It was the first astronaut school teacher, and they launched when they should not have. They knew this, and that was a real disaster. So you have to take your time to do it right, and we need to communicate to the public not to expect it on the second. It may be delayed, as Artemis has. And then the other question that you asked is about sending the ordinary citizen. Well, 20 years ago, people thought that this was just a crazy idea or would never happen. Now we have multiple companies, SpaceX, Blue Origin, others that are either doing this or promising to do this. SpaceX has been extremely successful lately in launching payloads and crew. And Blue Origin has now launched Captain Kirk from Star Trek, as well as other people, up and down, so-called suborbital flight. But still, you go to the edge of space. This is very exciting, because the more people that go, the more that will want to go. We will really build a space economy through these kinds of activities.
Yeah, and you've talked about that, and I just thought, will it one day be as ordinary as flying to other countries?
I think that given the time to get the reliability of the rockets more well established, that it could become as routine as when I flew from San Francisco to Armenia. That's probably a little bit further in the future, but I think that it is a distinct possibility.
And also talking about risks, you've said that it will be exciting to send ordinary citizens to space, and I just think that when that mission starts, people might get really excited. And do you think it carries some risks in order if we will not be able to manage all the risks there as we do here? What risks does it carry?
Yes, right now spaceflight all the way to orbit is still a risky endeavor. And astronauts have to sign that they understand this. Going just to the edge of space, like Blue Origin does, has considerably less risk, but it is not risk-free. Let's remember that from Sputnik in 1957 to today, or let's say the first 50 years, okay, so from 1957 to 2007, there were only 3,500 launches worldwide. In the first 50 years of aviation, there were maybe 1 million flights. And so it's still risky, but it's becoming less risky. And I think that's where the future belongs.
Yeah, and coming back to Starmus, I would like you to talk a little bit about the lectures you are going to deliver and what to expect from this festival.
Right. So I will be delivering on Wednesday evening a lecture at Starmus VI about the NASA Mars program and how we created it and what it has accomplished.
And also, I've seen that there are many lectures in universities going on, and when Garik Israelian talked about Starmus, he emphasized that it's important to deliver all these lectures to youth in order to also inspire and motivate them. How do you think about this?
So in addition to the talk that I'm giving at Starmus VI, I am going out to 2 different schools to talk directly to the students, and I think this is part of what we want to accomplish.
And also for small countries like Armenia, they don't really have a big history about space, about launching rockets and everything. Do you think it is still that possible to motivate and inspire school kids or even university students to one day accomplish or to reach to something that high?
I think with the evolution and development of the so-called smallsat or cubesat, almost any country and even some universities can launch a mission. The thing is to get a ride up there, but I think it's possible for almost any country to participate in the space program.
Thank you very much for your time. It's a big pleasure.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.